I don't fucking care. I didn't want to win anyway. Hey up guys, we are back. It's been a long time coming, but it really is about time we all started to get back into this fantasy lark. Great end to the last season, the first season of the UK Invitational Dynasty League. Really fun league all year round, I thought. Been a bit quiet since when the Super Bowl finished, and then obviously we had the rookie draft after the NFL draft at the start of May, and end of April, start of May. Been a bit quiet since then, so hopefully we can ramp it back up now and get people back involved, maybe get some trades going. So hopefully you'll all enjoy this video, get everyone back involved, and we'll see how it goes. I don't think there's anybody in fantasy football that doesn't like hearing someone else talk about their team and how they think their team is, or what their prospects are going forward, or how they've done something good or something that maybe can improve on, although I don't think people tend to like hearing that kind of stuff. But what my plan is for this video is I'm going to go through the rookie draft, and I'm going to do basically just a ranking of how I think everyone did in the rookie draft. Obviously some teams had more picks than others, some teams didn't have any picks at all. Not that I think Woke's bothered about that because he won the league, so we'll go through that, and then what I'll also do is I will go through everyone's team, and I'll just give my opinion on how I think everyone's team's like lining up, things that I might be able to improve on, or areas that I think they might be a bit weak. This is all just my opinion. I'll try and be as unbiased as possible because I will go through my team as well. Hopefully I don't piss anyone off with anything I say about their team. If I do, you can always send a message to the UK Invitational Dynasty League Complaints Department. There fucking isn't one. So in 12th place we have Seahawks, and in 11th place we have Woke. Neither of them teams had any picks in this rookie draft. Woke obviously in 11th because he won the league, so probably slightly higher than Seahawks, who might have been a bit more pissed off that I didn't have any picks from the end of it. Next up we have two teams who had one pick each. So in 10th place I've got Dan Bird, who took Seth Williams at 408. Now obviously at 408 there's not a great deal you can do with that pick. There's not a lot going on there. People know that I do like Seth Williams. I did like him. Really gutted with his draft capital and his landing spot, which for me just completely tanked him. I more or less took him completely off my draft boards. But I did like him as a prospect, and he has got a good prospect profile, so I'm not going to slate Dan Bird for that pick too much at all. Again, not a lot else he could have really done with that pick, so solid pick, if unspectacular. Then in 9th place I've got Danny Redders, also only had one pick, also late in the 4th round. At 410 he took Kenny Nwangwu, running back for the Vikings. Now Kenny Nwangwu is rapid. So this is the type of pick that you really want to be taking in the 4th round, maybe even late 3rd as well. You just a complete dart thrower, and you go for the mega athletic profiles. Someone who's rapid, or someone who's got all the measurables, and maybe you just hope that they can be coached up into it. So to say it's only one pick, and it was at 410, that's a pretty solid pick. So you can't. Not that you don't have much choice to go wrong with one pick, but Danny Redders made a solid pick there, so yeah, not bad. I'll just say, going into the 8th place team that I've ranked, I haven't took into account any trades. All I'm doing is looking at the players that were taken at the specific picks and just ranking based off of that. For example, me and Norse did a trade where he traded back into the first round at 109. I've discounted the trade, and I'm just looking at who made what picks in the draft. So with that said, going to the number 8th ranked team that I've got for the draft, I have got the Gambler. So the Gambler took Michael Carter at 206. That was his first pick. Some people like Michael Carter, you know what I'm talking about, and some people aren't as keen on him. I think with his draft capital, it was drafted in the 4th round. There's a big drop off between round 3 to round 4. So day 2 to day 3 of the NFL draft for running backs who have success in the NFL. Adding to that, Michael Carter is an undersized satellite back basically. So what you're really hoping for is that he gets a shitload of receptions. You just hope that the quarterback just throws him the ball. Went to a decent landing spot in the Jets, so we're just kind of turning it around. They're on the up anyway, they're ascending, or they might be ascending. You hope they're ascending, otherwise what the hell are they doing? But yeah, in terms of value in the draft, I personally think he should have gone a lot later than that. I mean, looking at this draft in particular, you had Tony go late first. Yeah, not a lot of people really like him that much, but it was a first round NFL pick, so if you're looking for value, you take the first round pick. He's probably got just as much chance of hitting as Michael Carter has. And then you also had like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who the gambler took later on, so and there was Jamie Brown as well. I just think there were plenty of other players that could have gone in that space at 206, but if he's your guy, you go and get him. And this running back class was quite weak as well. There weren't that many you wanted to take, so I can't really fault the gambler for taking him, but it's not something I would have done. We'll see how it works out. So anyway, at 212, the gambler then took Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is a brilliant pick. He shouldn't really have fallen that far. Again, yes, he was a 4th round pick, but the fact that he hits a lot of measurables that you like to see from successful NFL wide receivers, plus he's gone to a landing spot where the depth chart's wide open, and he's going to be on the field. You'd imagine he's going to be on the field from week 1. So yeah, I can't fault that pick. Solid pick at 212. In 7th place, I have Kluska 17. So Kluska started off his draft at 107, and he took Javonte Williams. Solid, but unspectacular pick. I'll probably mention a few times that this running back class was so weak, or lacking depth really more than weak, because it was probably a top-heavy class. I think people were finding that they had to take, or that they felt pressured maybe to take a running back if one of the top guys fell to him. So Kluska takes Javonte Williams at 107. Zach Wilson was still on the board at that point. Mac Jones as well, depending on if you like them quarterbacks or not. And to be fair, even if you don't like the quarterbacks, you should always take them in the first round of your rookie drafts, because they hold their value like no other position. They can have a terrible first year, and you will still be able to get a good return from if you try to sell them at the end of that year, more than any other position. Whereas if Javonte Williams comes out and has an absolute terrible year, you're never going to get a 1st round pick back for him. Never. So I just thought that, again, value-wise, it wasn't the best pick, but weak running back class, so can't knock it too much. Moving on to his next pick, he took Devonta Smith at 110. Zach Wilson actually went the pick before that, so that was that quarterback gone. I wonder if Kluska would have took Zach Wilson at 110 if he was there. Again, Devonta Smith's another one who divides opinion. Some people love him, some people don't like him really much. Not in the first round of rookie drafts. Although his ADP, that's where he's going. So I mean, you could say it's a fair value play. He actually went on to take Jalen Waddle at 112. I would have took Waddle at 110 over Devonta Smith. Mac Jones ended up going at 111, so he ended up getting both of them anyway. Waddle at 112 is an excellent pick though. And then going into the second round, Kluska snags Pat Freiermuth at 2.5, one of the highest rated tight ends in this class, so that's an excellent pick. The value there was excellent. At that point, it probably actually made sense to take that. Maybe only Rondale Moore after might have had the same kind of similar value. But with the tight end premium aspect of this league, it was a solid pick. At 310, Kluska took Ramondre Stevenson. Not really too much to say about that. He's an unathletic, bigger back who's gone to the Patriots. So he's either going to completely shit the bed and miss, or he's going to hit big time, knowing the Patriots. So again, at 310, late third, he's just looking for upside. And then at 4.7, he does the same thing again, really. Takes Javian Hawkins, who's gone to Atlanta. The depth chart there's obviously a bit more open, so you never know. But again, Hawkins is an undersized back, more than likely going to be a satellite back, so you just want him to be able to snag receptions in. But again, in especially late third and the entire 4th round of rookie drafts, all you want is upside. So not a lot really to poke at there for Kluska. The main thing being lack of quarterback taken in the first round when he had the chance. Probably had the chance a couple of times. But people like to take their own guys or draft on need rather than best player available. I'm not saying that's what Kluska did, but this is how quarterbacks fall in the first round of rookie drafts. So moving on from that, in 6th place I have Riggs. So Riggs obviously had the 101. Now some people will just massively overthink this and that had taken someone else other than Trevor Lawrence. Riggs didn't do that. It played it exactly how he should have done. It did try to move the pick, I believe, as well, which would have been a good play. He ended up taking Trevor Lawrence, and you can't fault that at all. This team is a rebuilding team that he's got, so what better piece to start that rebuild with than Trevor Lawrence, who if he is as advertised, should be on Riggs' team, or could be on Riggs' team for the next 10-15 years. So yeah, solid pick to start off with there. Not a lot else going on after that for Riggs. He had 308 and he took Des Fitzpatrick for Tennessee. Des Fitzpatrick's a pretty standard pick at that point. It's not spectacular, it's not a reach or anything like that, so yeah, solid pick. Josh Palmer at 401 was an excellent pick. Josh Palmer had third round NFL draft capital. He's gone to the Chargers. The depth chart is a bit more buried there. He's a bit more buried on that depth chart. However, he has got good measurables. So if he can show out in training camp and even get some time, get some game time early on in the season or even throughout the season, that could be a solid pick for Riggs. It's again in the rebuild. At 404, Riggs then took Kylin Hill at Green Bay. Kylin Hill had quite a lot of hype before the draft. Again, great measurables. He really should have come out last year in the previous NFL draft. After that fantastic season that he had, he ended up going back and it just fell so much. So he's gone to Green Bay, so you think he's going to back up Aaron Jones now. Jamal Williams has gone. So I mean, you never know, it could end up being a top handcuff to earn. So again, 4th round, handcuff, can't complain with that. And then at 4-6, he took Emmitt Smith-Marset, who's gone to the Vikings. He's been getting quite a lot of buzz actually recently. Again, these 4th round picks, you can't really criticise them because the 4th round picks, they are what they are. With these guys, no one really knows what's going to happen with them. A lot of it's going to depend on play time and coaching, what they get. But this guy has been getting quite a bit of buzz, so that could turn out to be a good pick for Riggs as well. So solid draft for Riggs to start the rebuild. He's still got quite a bit of work to do, but I'm confident he can get some moves done. So going on to number 5, I have created username. He only had 3 picks. So at 210, he took Kadarius Toney, who has been getting quite a lot of shit really. I mean, it was a 1st round NFL draft pick. So to take the guy at 210 is excellent value. Whether you think he's going to be good or not, whether you like him or not, at that point, you take a 1st round NFL draft pick all day long at 210. So it's a great pick. You can't say it any other way. Even if you don't like the play, you've got to sit back and just admit that that's a great pick at 210. And then at 3-2, created username made arguably an even better pick, taking Kyle Trask, who's gone to Tampa Bay. Kyle Trask had quite a lot of hype before the NFL draft, probably more so at the start of the college season last year. He was being projected to be quite a high 1st round pick. He had a bit of a fall off, but he's gone to Tampa Bay. 2nd round NFL pick, so he's going to have opportunities. So to get a play like that in a Superflex league is a fantastic pick. Then at 307, created username took Dwayne Eskridge, who's gone to Seattle. Again, this kid is rapid, not the best prospect profile, and I think because he went as a 2nd round pick again, getting that at 307, value, just created username, just extracted massive value. He only had 3 picks in this draft, and he made 3 absolute great picks. Again, even if you're not a fan of Dwayne Eskridge, you've got to admire the pick at 307, 2nd round draft capital for the guy. So yeah, an absolute fantastic draft from created username.
Can you help this man? Addictions are ruining the streets, and this man has a trade addiction. With your help of 1 weekly trade off a cent, this can improve this man's life.
Coming in at number 4 is Bearass. Bearass had quite a lot of picks in this draft, so he had a lot more chance to make some great picks, but also more chance to make some not so great picks. Probably a bit harsh on created username this because I probably could have put him in at 4 and Bearass at 5. I probably could interchange a bit because there is a couple of picks here that I do think could have been better for Bearass. So starting off at 108, Bearass takes Travis Etienne. Again, this is going to be the same sort of concern that I had with Busker in avoiding the quarterbacks. So taking Travis Etienne at 108 when Zach Wilson is still on the board could be seen as a bit of a mistake, especially in the Superflex league. Same reason as Javonte Williams going to Klusker and Travis Etienne going to Bearass. If Etienne doesn't have a great season, his value is going to tank. You're not going to get the 108 value back, whereas again Zach Wilson, you'll probably still be able to get a late 1st for him, depending on obviously how bad he is, if he is bad. But generally speaking, quarterbacks you can still get a 1st round value from. Sam Darnold you will still be able to sell for a 1st like 2 seasons in, so that just says it all. But yeah, apart from that, Etienne's it is a good pick. He's one of the only running backs really that you really want in this class, along with Williams and Harris, possibly Sermon later on. After that, this running back class just drops off a cliff. So Matt might disagree with me, might put Michael Carter back in there, but that's another discussion. So yeah, again, solid pick, because then at 111, he doesn't make the same mistake again, and he takes Mac Jones. We don't know if Mac Jones is going to start again, so it might be a bit more of a project one, whereas we know Zach Wilson's going to start. But Mac Jones at 111 is a great pick. He should be going around that spot. To be fair, we don't know who's going to be starting in New England. It should be Cam Newton. We don't know what's going on with Jarrett Stidham. We imagine he's done. So yeah, great pick there from Bearhouse. It kind of makes up a little bit for that Etienne pick. And I imagine what Bearhouse would say in response to this is, if I take Zach Wilson at 108, Travis Etienne doesn't fall to me at 111, and I agree with that. So I can see why he's done it that way. It just, what's going to swing this one way or the other is if Mac Jones gets the chance as much as Zach Wilson does, or if he takes that chance as well. But yeah, he could have gone either way, so I'm not gonna harp on about it too much. Going into the second round though, Bearhouse had the first 3 picks, and at the time of the draft I still remember this happening, and I thought he made the best 3 picks possible. He took the best 3 players available. Possibly Elijah Moore could have been swapped for Rondale Moore, but Bateman at 201, Marshall at 202, definitely the best 2 players available. So that's you can't fault taking best player available in rookie drafts, and he really did that for 3 picks on the bounce. So yeah, that's fantastic. That's one of the main reasons that I have him up at number 4. It could have took Trey Sermon over one of them, who I ended up taking in the next pick. I was hoping one of Bateman or Marshall fell to my pick, so that just shows how much I do think it made some good picks there. At 207, he takes Chuba Hubbard. Possibly was a little bit early for Chuba. His draft stock tanked big time, didn't it? But again, his straight line speed could make him a massive value player there if he gets the opportunity. Anytime, if McCaffrey goes down and Chuba steps in, it could be a top. If McCaffrey misses like a full season, Chuba Hubbard could be a top 5 running back, top 5 fantasy running back, just because of that straight line speed. He does have the size as well. So at 207, it's a handcuff, so it's not the best value pick. However, if McCaffrey does get injured again, which he has been quite often, then it'll pay that value back for him. Then I thought Bearhouse reached a bit at 209 for Kellen Mond. Again, it is a super flex league. Trask was still on the board at this point. I might have gone Trask over Mond, but you can't really fault too much about taking quarterbacks in a super flex, because he probably would have gone in a third anyway. Bearhouse did have a pick at 305, which was his next pick. I think Mond would have still been there then. Bearhouse's last 3 picks, so he had 305, 312, and then 405. It's a tight end premium league, so taking dart throws on 2 tight ends is always a good idea. In fact, Tommy Tremble at 405 is a fantastic pick. He's going to have a good opportunity in Carolina to take over that role. So yeah, again, fantastic pick. Hunter Long, again, he might be buried a bit more on the depth chart, but he was one of the guys who was thought to be one of the, after the top guys, he was the one that was meant to be next, before the draft. So again, you can't really take too much away from that pick. And Tyler Moore's at 312, but at 312, that's a brilliant pick. Again, you're aiming for upside. So overall, I think Bearhouse had a really good draft. A couple of things I might have done slightly different, but that early second round stretch of 3 picks were absolutely fantastic. He also got his bell cow running back, and he did get a first round quarterback as well. So yeah, overall, well done. Coming in at number 3, I put myself here. I didn't want to put myself any higher. Not that I think I should have been as well, actually. But yeah, I think because I took 2 quarterbacks in the first round, yeah, granted I had earlier picks, or an early pick and a mid first pick, it made complete sense. And obviously I'd kind of worked my team around drafting quarterbacks in this rookie draft, traded away Kyler Murray to Norse earlier on in pre-season. So yeah, 102 I took Justin Fields, and then at 106 I took Trey Lance. After Trevor Lawrence, I just thought that them 2 have the better fantasy upside over Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, so that's why I took them 2 there. I do need other positions in my team, so I could have took Williams or Etienne there, but I just think, again, even if Lance turns out to be quite bad in his first season, I should be able to sell him for a first round value and get some value back. So That's always my thinking behind that. At 204, because I do have a need for running back, and I was a bit, not on tilt, but I was hoping Bateman or Marshall fell, as I said before. I thought Sermon was the last running back in this class that I would want to take. He has decent draft capital, so he's got the size as well. He wasn't a prolific back in college, not all of them are though, to be fair, so that pick's going to be one that's yet to be determined, but I thought at that spot, being the last running back that that people would really want to take, I thought I had to take him, so I think it was a pretty decent pick. It's not, again, not spectacular. If I hadn't have took him, I probably would have took Frymouth at that spot, who went in the next pick, so I think my thinking might have been on the right lines. Then later on in the second, I took Rondale Moore. I thought this was absolutely fantastic value at 208. I don't think he should have been there at 208. He could have gone a few picks earlier. Again, he could have gone at 2-3. He could have been interchangeable with Elijah Moore. He could have gone at 2. Could have took him at 2-4. So again, I thought that was a pretty solid pick. 211, I took Brevin Jordan. I did try to take best player available throughout. I always do try to take best player available throughout drafts. I really liked Brevin Jordan even before the NFL draft. And I think with tight ends, it's a lot more irrelevant where your draft capital is. I mean, you look at who the Ravens took a couple of years ago when they took Hayden Hurst in the first or early second round. I think it was first round, and then they took Mark Andrews later on in the third or something like that. Mark Andrews is a better receiver, so he's a better fantasy player. I'm hoping that is the same for Brevin Jordan, who I did like before the NFL draft, and he's gone to Houston as well, so he should have an amazing opportunity to get on the field. We all know that tight ends generally take a bit longer than other positions to come into their own and start being relevant. I'm sure Norse is open, Kyle Pitts doesn't take that long, but yeah, I've got high hopes for Brevin Jordan, so we'll see how it goes. That could turn out to be a wasted pick at 211. But again, really, there's only two other guys who I might have wanted to take there, and they went immediately after, so I'm not going to complain too much. At 3-9, I was really happy with picking Anthony Schwartz. Again, tried to take best player available. Anthony Schwartz is another rapid player. He had great measurables, quite coming from an SEC school as well, early declare, that all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he's gone to Cleveland, so the depth chart's a bit buried, but you would think that Landry and Beckham aren't going to be there too much longer, so hopefully he can get on the field this year and do some stuff, and then next year it could be wheels up if he shows some promise this year. I was really happy with that pick at 3-9. At 4-9, my reasoning for taking Jamar Jefferson, again it's a late fourth, so you're just taking upside pick, is because I really liked him pre-NFL draft. He tanked a little bit as well, he dropped quite a lot, but because I liked him so much, it's a handcuff. I took a handcuff. He's going to be DeAndre Swift's handcuff, but again, if Swift goes down, Jamar Jefferson could see a bulk of the workload, and this is what I thought the difference was between taking Jamar Jefferson at 4-9 and taking Chuba Hubbard at 2-7, because Hubbard's also a handcuff, but he's gone in the second round. I've took a handcuff in the end of the fourth. Now Chuba wouldn't have gone in the fourth anyway, but it probably should have gone mid-third or late third or something like that. But yeah, so it's a handcuff, not much more else to say about that. So, coming in at number 2, I have Matt T90. So, Matt only had picks from the third round onwards, but I think that Matt nailed just about every single pick he had from a value standpoint. At 301, he took Jeremy Brown, best receiver left on the board at this point. He probably shouldn't have even been there at 301. Probably should have been a late second round, in my opinion anyway. So yeah, fantastic pick. And then at 303, he takes Amari Rodgers. Now, I didn't particularly think Amari Rodgers was a great prospect. However, he's gone to Green Bay, and if Aaron Rodgers is still there and Rodgers can get on the field, then you would think that could turn out to be a very, very good pick at 303 from a value standpoint anyway. And then at 304, one of the only other running backs that you might want that had a lot of hype pre-draft, Kenny Gainwell. Again, it's not someone I particularly liked because he was undersized. He's going to be a satellite back, so again, it's another running back that you're just hoping he can get a shitload of receptions. Having said that, people probably know that I'm not Miles Sanders' biggest fan either, so could Gainwell take over? Again, Gainwell's not got the size to be a workhorse, but he could take on quite a bigger role. But that's my bias against Miles Sanders showing. Then at 306, he makes another fantastic pick, taking Nico Collins, who the Texans took in the third round. So Matt's getting a third round draft capital wide receiver at 306 in the rookie draft to a team who's got really a depleted receiving core. And Nico Collins is a big target. This is a great pick because this has the potential for like one of the biggest value increases, because Collins has got the size, he's got the measurables to be a great NFL player. It's just whether he's got the athleticism or got the mind stuff. Could turn out to be another Arcega-Whiteside, or it could be another Kenny Golladay. So in the middle of the third round, that's a great pick. And then at 311, Matt takes David Mills, who also went to the Texans. I think this is a good pick either way, whether Watson is suspended or not to start the season, because he's not going to play there. He's going to be gone. Whether he plays at the start or whether he's suspended or whether he just says I don't want to play at all. And they haven't got a lot more behind him, so that's a great pick. David Mills might get on the field this season. So at 311, that was a fantastic pick. I would say that that's a better pick than Kellen Mond at 2-9. 4-3, again, fourth round picks, he's just taking dart throws. So Matt took Cornell Powell, who went to the Chiefs. It was a 5th round NFL pick, so not great draft capital, but again, there has been some 5th round receivers that have come on and done stuff. And when you've got Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, you just never know. So yeah, great dart throw. Really, really impressed with Matt's draft. To say he didn't have any picks in the first or second round, the value that he's got from the picks that he did have is fantastic. So coming in at number 1, and the team that I think had the best rookie draft throughout our league is Norseman Rob. He had 4 picks in the first round, and he ended up getting the top consensus wide receiver, the top consensus running back, top consensus tight end, and he also got Zach Wilson, who was taken 1 or 2 in the NFL draft. So it might be a bit of a contradiction to myself. I can see you thinking it already that I didn't take one of the quarterbacks earlier. And if he hadn't have took Zach Wilson at 9, he actually traded up for that. I wasn't going to mention the trades. If he hadn't have taken the quarterback, and then I wouldn't have had him ranked as the best draft, regardless of what quarterbacks you've got on your team, as I've said before. But yeah, Jamar Chase, Najee Harris, Kyle Pitts, that's fantastic. When you're picking that early in the draft, so much opportunity to mess it up because there's so many more players still available. But Rob didn't do that. He took the top consensus players at their skill positions, and then he still come back and got his quarterback as well. So that first round is near on perfect. It's near on 10 out of 10 first round for Norseman Rob, and that's really what's put him, in my eyes, up to number 1 for the best draft in this league. Then he also got Tutu Atwell at 402. A second round NFL draft pick. Yeah, alright, the guy's a midget, and we all know what my feelings are about small NFL players. But second round draft capital in the 4th round of a rookie draft, fantastic pick. You can't go wrong with that at all. And then at 411, when you'd think, how can I get value at 411? Take a quarterback in a Superflex league. Complete dart for a quarterback. Yeah, it might not amount to a lot, but it's 411, so who cares? And then at 412, we took Daz Newsome as well, who, again, not a perfect prospect by any means, but that's why he's at 412. But he's a prospect who could see the field in Chicago, so it could, if that value again could increase from using that 412. How many people just throw in 4th round picks as dart throws into trades? Say, I'd have me 4th, you can just have it, don't want it. Then you end up taking someone like Tutu Atwell at 4.2 or Daz Newsome at 4.12, and if you can flip them for anything higher than a 4th round value draft pick, then you're winning. Do you know what I mean? And that's how you win in these leagues. You accumulate value, and on top of that, Norse's team is looking absolutely fantastic now. I'm not actually going to go into each team in this video because it's already dragging on a bit longer than I thought it would, but I'll do that in the next video. And Norse's team is maybe not this season, although I do think he will have a good season, but I think from next year onwards he's going to have like a 3 to 4 year window where he could absolutely dominate this league just because of the way he's drafted. So yeah, well done Rob, absolutely fantastic draft that was. So I will say it was close with Matt's because I was really impressed with all of Matt's picks from the 3rd round onwards, so he didn't have any early picks. I think one thing though that this draft shows is that the majority of guys in this league, all these guys in this league are clued up. There was no like completely outrageous picks where you're thinking, what the hell are you doing? And I think that's what helps make this league so competitive, and it is going to be competitive going forward. So there you have it, guys. That's my rankings for the rookie draft that we had this year. This video's gone over half hour already, so I'm not going to go through everyone's teams like I mentioned earlier. I'll do that in another video. Hopefully I'll get that out in the next few weeks or so, time dependent.